Hello Aquarius, Elsie here to do a bonus read for you. Aquarius, I'm sorry I didn't get to you last week. Here we are with this week. I just want to say thank you for the ways that you've been loving on the channel. Thank you so much for your thumbs up. Thank you so much for your hype. If you have the ability to hype, I think you need to be here and see this video within 48 hours of it uploading, and then you'll be having access to the hype. So if you have, thank you, because that is growing your tribe, friends, and it's also growing this channel. Let's find out what is going on for you if you have a sun, moon, rising, Venus, or Jupiter placement in Aquarius. Something here could be for you, but maybe it might not be. It's a general read. So hopefully you just take this as entertainment. Let's find out what's going on. Aquarius, sun, moon, rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Ooh, I like that. That's a good place to start. 10 of Cups. Why is that? We've got the Swords, 7 of Swords. You don't trust happiness. There's somebody here who does. You're like, Else, it's bunk. There's no such thing as the 10 of Cups. It feels like somebody who's really cynical. And look, I'm cynical too. I'm a Taurus, right? I'm a fixed sign like you. And so I feel like somebody here doesn't trust that there is a 10 of Cups here. What else? We have the, because you're in this healing. Look, it feels like here that you're trying to clear some sort of energy. That's what it feels like. You're trying to get some harmony in your life. You're trying to restore some health, restore faith. It feels like you're trying to heal something is what it feels like. And the 7 of Swords being here, the reason I think that you don't trust happiness is because maybe you're healing from something you thought was the 10 of Cups. It feels like you thought it was a lie, or maybe not an outright lie, but maybe somebody didn't tell you the whole truth. Feels like you are healing something here, or you're trying to restore your health, trying to restore your mental health, physical health. Tell me what else is going on. We've got the Queen of Wands. You may have jumped in too quickly. Now look, an Aquarius usually will think it out to the nth degree, but I think somebody here has fire. Fire in your placements somewhere, that possibly you jumped into something too quick. And it feels like that's why you think it was a lie, or you were deceived. Maybe you didn't see all the fine print. Tell me more. We've got the Magician. And we've got the Chariot. There's a lot of really fast moving energy here. It may have been a business deal that we're talking about. We got the 10 of Pentacles. It could be a business deal. It could be stabilization in your health, your time, your effort, your energy, maybe money, something long term. The thing is that because you're a fixed sign, you generally move slow, unless you, like me, I'm a Taurus, but I've got probably way more Aries in me than I have Taurus. So maybe you're one of those signs. Do you know what I mean? Maybe you're somebody who's very articulate, very much an eye for detail. You like the truth, you like the facts, you like the details, but I feel like your fire or your passion for whatever it is clouds your judgment sometimes. I feel like you are the Magician. So I feel like whatever it was that made you not really believe or trust the 10 of Cups was something that you did quickly, because I think you thought, oh, I manifested, it's here already. I manifested this thing, it must be mine. It feels like you were cautiously optimistic, I'm going to say. The Chariot is a little bit of a runaway train, right? But it is definitely a discipline. Like, it's not, well, maybe the thing is that maybe there's a discipline here, but it feels like your fire got the best of you. It feels like there's something here that you might have jumped in really quickly without reading the fine print, whether that is money, time, effort, or energy. A long-term commitment is what it feels like. And it could be in any one of those things. It doesn't have to be relationship related, but it was a long-term commitment that I feel like you were able to get out of. Or maybe you fulfilled the commitment and now you're just trying to heal from it. The 7 of Swords brings us the Moon. Yeah, it feels like there was something underneath the surface, and maybe your little spidey senses were tingling, saying don't trust it. But I feel like it made you feel passionate, excited. It almost felt like a good deal, because it felt as though you wouldn't have to hold back anymore, which means you could put down some sort of burden you were carrying. It feels like you just didn't want to think about it anymore. It felt like a burden of a thought process. I'm tired of trying to wade through the mud. Like, I'm looking at the Moon energy. things aren't as they seem. Maybe you thought they were as they seemed and they weren't. There was a question mark, or there was some sort of illusion, something here that you missed. It seemed like a good idea at the time is what I think it is. Now, I think that maybe I could be talking about someone jumping in from, like, getting out of one opportunity and immediately jumping into another. So maybe you were dating and then you got hurt and you weren't quite healed enough before you jumped into the next thing. It feels like it felt good, so you went with it. Maybe it was somebody you met in a social place. It feels like you were trying to heal a wound, but I think what you didn't realize is, instead of trying to cover up the Nine of Wands with the Three of Cups, that the Four of Swords is really the way to go. Finding more balance in the mind, finding more balance by yourself, finding healing or restoration of the health or the mind, not through this, right? Not through just covering it up with parties and fun and meeting new people. And it feels like you sort of like a little bit of the element of surprise. So it almost feels like somebody here maybe has like a North Node fire sign or something, like you just really run at things. And although you get the details, I feel like here, because you were so passionate or excited, I think that you weren't scared to get hurt, is what it feels like. You're okay to risk it because you know you bounce back really quickly. Tell me what this Ten of Cups is and why you didn't trust it here. We've got the Sun, we've got the Three of Pentacles, and the Queen of Cups. I feel like you had built on it for a while. It doesn't feel like, I feel like you did jump at it because it felt like something that you were passionate about, or someone you were attracted to, or maybe it was a good deal that you wanted to get on before it left. But it feels like the Sun was here. I think you thought you had all the details, because I feel like whatever this was, the opportunity maybe didn't run at you. Maybe the opportunity built over time. Because it feels like with the Three of Pentacles, it's like we were in a partnership and I trusted you and you trusted me, and we've collaborated before, and we have the same group of friends, or we live in the same community, or we're practical friends of friends, or maybe we just had a really good working relationship. It feels like you trusted it. You trusted that it was slowly moving into a place that was feeling deeper, more emotional. You were feeling comfortable with that. But it almost feels like the frog in the pot, right? And you turn up the heat and it doesn't notice that the Sun is here, right? I feel like you were really being careful about the details as you were building it, but I don't think you realized that the temperature got turned up really quick and all of a sudden everything got hot. That's what it feels like here. We got the Two of Swords. And so it feels like maybe you entered it a little bit with rosy colored glasses on, or maybe the blindfold was on. You knew you had to make a decision because you wanted to jump on the offer before it ran away. But I feel like making this decision really quickly is what led to you having to be in the Four of Swords, because the Seven of Swords is present. Tell me why the Four of Swords is here. What are you healing from? Five of Cups, being let down by somebody here. It feels like I really regret getting into this. I shouldn't have jumped at it so quickly, or I missed something in the contract. It feels like there was an emotional loss here, or emotional regret. I should have never done that. We've got the Six of Cups. It felt familiar. Maybe it was something that felt familiar or reminded you of someone from your past, or this feels like it was good feelings though. It feels like it was a good, maybe you had history with this person, nostalgic history, and maybe they showed up and all of a sudden terms were different and we had grown a friendship over time, and it slipped into this Queen of Cups energy here, this very deep emotional place. It feels like you were very aware of what you were doing, that this really did look like your Ten of Cups. Tell me, I don't think that you got into something that you weren't aware of. We've got the Justice card here. So I feel as though this Libra energy, we got double Libra here. It does feel like you do regret doing it, but it feels as though, I'm going to say that it feels like you took the chance because you knew you could bounce back from it. That's what it feels like. You took the risk because you knew, I can restore my energy, I can get back into this harmonious place, but I really have to explore, discover what the Queen of Wands is all about. It feels like you attracted whatever this was, or it looked very attractive, or it was calling you in, like attracting you. But I think because the Magician's here, it feels like you attracted it to yourself. I'm not saying that you caused your own problems. What I'm saying is I feel like, the Queen of Wands is very sexy, very attractive. And I feel like whether you're the feminine or the masculine Queen of Wands, that I feel like you attract the silver and the gold and the diamonds, but you also attract the paper clips, right? So I feel like this was a paperclip moment, that maybe it got like all muddled up and it looked like it was a better idea than it ended up being. Tell me why the Chariot's here. It feels like we moved too fast. Something here moved too fast. We didn't consider the emotions. Yeah, I think it caught you by surprise, because it does feel like something that you were very sure about. It doesn't seem like you made an erratic decision. The Queen of Wands isn't erratic. The Queen of Wands is taking an educated leap of faith, or running at whatever she wants, because she realizes that if she falls, she can bounce back, right? She's not worried about getting hurt. But I think that something here looked like it was disciplined from a distance. It didn't look like somebody was like throwing their emotions all over the place. Chariot is Cancer, and we've got discipline. But it started moving so quickly that I think that's what surprised you. It got really confusing or overwhelming emotionally. It's like people always talk about Aquarius being detached from emotions, but it's only because when you do connect with your emotions, it's like a tsunami, right? Because you spend so much time being disciplined and holding back your emotions. You don't think that everything is worth throwing your emotions at, and that's why you stay a little bit detached and more analytical about things. And I think that when the gates opened, that was it. There was the tsunami, and I feel like it was like this runaway train of emotions, and so you jumped right in. Yeah. So I feel like right now you're probably at a place where you're feeling like, God, I shouldn't have done that. I regret doing that. But I really do. I believe that all the decisions we make, it builds us, right? It gives us, I don't feel like this is a failure. I feel like it's a lesson. This does feel like, even if you know somebody for a really long time and they've gone away and they come back, that's what it feels like. This person is somebody you haven't seen in a long while. So if this is in the future for you, because this could be past, present, or future. If this is in the future for you, I'm going to say be careful. Because if this is somebody that you haven't seen in a while, this person will portray themselves as very solid, grounded, someone who you can trust. And I think that you can, honestly. But I think that the emotional part of it gets to be a runaway train, and maybe you jump in with passion before you really think about the consequences of crossing the line from friendship to lovers, considering the Queen of Cups here, right? So I feel like the Sun is here, and I feel like the Sun was on the Ten of Cups, and it looked like a Ten of Cups situation, or it does, or it may in the future. But I feel like there's something here that you're missing. So let's get some advice. Tell me about the advice. Because I feel like there's something small print in a contract, or something that was like a clause. Somebody didn't tell you about their, what do you call that? When there's a clause that you can get caught in. Gosh. It feels like a fine print thing. You didn't realize what you were getting into until you were all the way in knee deep. We've got the Queen of Coins. We've got the Strength card. And we've got the Hanged Man. See, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying here, Aquarius. Look, you're very observant. The Hanged Man is here. You looked at it with perspective. You held back and looked at it with perspective until you decided that it was a good idea, that you were going to buy in. But because you're a fixed sign, when you buy in, you're all the way in. And you're quite loyal, unless something goes off the rails. And I feel like you really trusted somebody here. You trusted them with your time, your effort, your energy, your money. You felt like this person is worth it. I think that you held back from this person, or have been holding back from this person for a really long time. Maybe your intuition was telling you that. That's Piscean energy. But it does feel like you really looked it over before you jumped in, but your passions got the best of you. We've got the Five of Swords. So I feel like, yeah, there we go. If you feel anything tangling up in your intuition that's telling you, look over the contract, don't move forward unless you have another set of eyes. Make sure you get a lawyer on it if it's a legal thing. I'm not saying that this is a relationship, but I'm saying that there is something that you're going to jump into here, that you could potentially be missing something. So please make sure you get another set of eyes before you make the full commitment. But it feels like with the High Priestess here, if something is feeling weird and off, please pay attention to it and look it over really carefully. Hold back until you're ready to to come to your aha moment or your moment of clarity, because it seems like this is a really exciting conversation. Like, it feels like somebody really hypes you up, shows you the clarity and the creativity of this new passionate. It feels like a lot of excitement. I always say this particular one is a rocket. It feels like you need to get on the rocket if you want to go to space, and it's leaving next week, so you got to make your decision now. But I feel like you really need to get comfortable with having clarity, an epiphany, or a realization of something that's super duper clear, and that you have everything here, because something could be lurking in the dark, right? You might want to it because you're feeling it out, but it does feel like here that there is something very exciting, a conversation, a person, a situation. It feels like the beginning of something, and it has promise. And I feel like it might look like the 10 of Cups, but it also feels like you could miss something if you go too fast. So I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying that it ends up you falling down. I just think that if you jump too fast, you might miss something, because the illusion is it's coming fast. It surprised me, and I got to do it now or it's going to leave town. So it could be a person, could be a job, could be a contract to do something really big that makes you a lot of money or gives you a lot of stability. Just make sure that you've got all your details, friend. I'm going to go for now. Oh, and don't do it over drinks. Please don't do it over drinks. All right, I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back, because I'm always back. And if you're back here, we'll do this again. Take care of yourselves. Thank you. Bye-bye.